Uh, Today's class is going to be little shorter because yesterday we have started with the methods of data collection, right? And there is certain remaining portion of methods of data collection that we will be covering up in this class. And there is a next topic, that is external and internal criticism, which I will begin in the next class. I will not start it today because that is a bit of interesting and it's a separate topic. So yesterday we have. Well, okay. Are you able to see the PPT and me both?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So yesterday we have started with different methods of data collection, and we started with how to take the notes. Taking notes, it seems to be a pretty simple thing to begin with, but when we are dealing with research, you need to be very particular to avoid a lot of confusion. You need to make a list of the book and secondary sources, primary sources. You may need to make a list, and then accordingly you can just go on searching in the library, prepare the notes and separate it. Like you may have to make different notebooks, and you may have to make different files. Survey is another method that we have discussed yesterday, where the your skill of observation is very important, and before you go for survey, some kind of theoretical grounding is necessary. And then we were discussing questionnaire, and then I went for a meeting. So in this questionnaire, yesterday we have already discussed that in the first part of that questionnaire, generally we take the data of the respondent, so that later on we can analyze if the people belonging to the particular gender, if they respond in the particular manner, or people belonging to a different having a different income group, they respond in a particular manner. While selecting the respondent for questionnaire, there should be a proper selection of the respondent. For example, if you want to discuss educational policies, it's a highly qualified people, like teachers working in university, or the students who are doing research and all. They should be your target area. If you are doing it for, let us say, irrigation, then you may have to go for village and talk to the people, or ask the people who are dealing with agriculture to participate in the this process of taking of data collection. There should not be ambiguity in the question, it should be straightforward. Next thing is that you should not write any kind of question that may hurt somebody's sentiment. Religion is particularly a pretty sensitive issue. So you need to be very careful while making statement about the religious issues or any other issues that may hurt somebody's sentiment. And it's challenging. I mean, sometimes people may not be willing to give you the answers. Like when I was doing some research in the northeast, I was in the northeast, and there is a small community called Darlong. And I had some students from Darlong community, so I gave them questionnaire, and I told them, "Okay, okay, give it to the villager." And I just presume many times, we presume a lot of things as a researcher. I just presume that the people of that village will be probably happy to tell about their culture, to tell about their life. And as it will be a kind of research conducted by the college, it was a bit remote area and a village area, and probably people will be happy that college is taking some professor from college is taking interest in our culture and life. But to my surprise, my students used to come and tell me, "Ki, sir, I have given them questionnaire. Some of them have lost that pages, and many of them are not willing to write answers in spite of our persuasion." So you may encounter this kind of challenge. So you need to be a bit persuasive. You just can't, just because you are interested in the research, that does not mean that the people who are you are interviewing and taking asking them question will be interested in supporting your research. We generally get emotional, enthusiastic about our research and expect that people will support us, which may not happen. So those kind of challenges are there. People may lie also. They may still lie in while answering question, and many times it's obviously it is just a memory base. So people will not definitely go study and write your answers. Whatever they could recollect quickly, they will just answer it. And okay, now the question is in the written form, and the verbal form of the similar matter of gathering of data is called interview. So while taking interview, again, the process is that you must select the right kind of people. As I repeat again, if you want to discuss the educational policies, it's not going to be very helpful to you if you go and talk to the villager who doesn't understand the education policy. You may have to select the people who are somehow involved in the education. Then, if you are taking interview of the people, you should know about the proper timing. For example, if you're discussing about some issues related to village, and if you go there during the sowing season, and that you reach there around, let's say, 10 o'clock or so, probably everybody has left for their agriculture field, and you may not find the people in the village except those who are staying back, or elderly people, or if there are women who are not going to the agriculture land for working. Um, so that kind of challenges will come up. Similarly, if you are taking interview of some very busy, very well known person, you have to ask him for suitable time. It's not that any time you just bang on his door. He may be busy, or he may respond in a hurry, so that interview will not be going to be very fruitful interview. Information that you are trying to gather, you may not get it, so you need to have a very suitable time. The next thing is that you need to build confidence with the people. For example, if you go to the villager, and if you try just asking them question, it's quite possible that they may be frightened. They may think that what he needs is information. Similarly, there might be a people, public figure and all. They may think that you may take out information and misuse to defame him. So you must build that confidence. Tell them that I have no intention of defaming you or something like that. I'm just doing it for my research. And to villager, you have to. They may ask you, ki, what is our benefit in this? So you have to convince them. Don't make false promises that government policies are going to change. You just say ki, this could be a kind of input to the government, and it may change. If not for you, it may benefit. If the government takes into account the problem of the village, it may benefit your children. Build that kind of confidence. So these people will have an idea where they are getting into. Say, next thing is that while taking interview, if possible, record the interview, but recording of the interview should be done after taking consent of the person who is speaking. You should not secretly record. That is quite unethical thing. If a person might be confiding in you, but with his consent you should record. Will have, in case that person later on goes back to his words and say, I have not said anything of that sort, then you have a recording. Secondly, while taking interview, it's quite possible that you may not be able to take the fast notes. But if you have a recording, you can go home, sit at your leisure, and listen to the recording. And in that way, you will be able to have better information with you. Next thing is that if a person is not willing, you should not ask a very uncomfortable questions, like very personal matter and all. And it's quite possible that that's in case of certain interview of the respondent, you may have to keep the identity of the person secret. There are highly sensitive issues, maybe with religion, or maybe very personal matter about relationship, let us say. So about relationships, generally people are not very open, but that could be an area of research where you may have to select a particular age group, and then apart from their name, you may have to keep another data. You have to tell them, okay, okay, fine, we are not going to disclose your names anywhere. Next thing is that you need to have a background knowledge. For example, if you are doing, let us say, research on business history, and if you go take an appointment of from Ratan Tata, let us say, and if you go and ask him the question, like, in which year Ratan this Tata industry has started, that may irritate him, because that kind of simple information is easily available on Google. or you if you ask him question like, who has started Tata Industry, that may irritate him because he will feel that you are wasting his time. So the information which is already available, it's quite possible that there might be book on Tata. So if you read the book earlier, there is information on the internet. If you take out all this information, so you already have certain information. So you go and ask him question like, your grandfather so and so have started Tata Industry. Do you have any memory of your grandfather? So this is a question which is having a more value, which is more valuable. So he knows that you have already studied about Tata. That will build confidence, and that will also give an indication that you are serious about your research. So that kind of a background research you must do before going for interview. It's same with any kind of topic you take. If you are taking interview about educational policies, you yourself should be familiar about the educational policy. Otherwise, if you go and talk to the professor of education and you have no background knowledge, he is not just going to avoid you, or give some answers and just let you go. So it's not going to be a fruitful serious research. Similarly, like in case of questionnaire, we have open-ended and closed-ended question. Similarly, here also we have open interview and structured interview. Like structured interview is, you generally know what kind of questions you are asking, and many times these questions are given to the person in advance, and so he comes prepared, and you go on asking one question after another question, and he goes on answering. So those kind of questions are, those kind of interview are called structured interview. And there are open interview. You ask question. For example, what is your opinion about the Kisan bill? Let us say, very burning topic latest. So that person, this is the open kind of question, and that person may go on speaking for a longer period. So that is called open interview, where you don't have a series of questions prepared, or you are not informed the person. You may just tell him that we are going to discuss about the Kisan issue, Kisan bills, and that kind of interviews are called open interview. Then proper selection of the respondent, I have already told you. So this is generally about the interview method, and there are certain limitation. You can take interview of the people only about the recent event. You cannot talk about very past, long past, where which nobody has seen. You may talk, like for example, there are a certain historian who had done a very extensive work on Chhatrapati Shivaji. So you may take their interview, and that may prove useful to you. But generally speaking, very serious research work is by the information for the very serious research work that you get from interview is generally about the very contemporary events, or the event which are taken in the very recent past. And then comes the last data collection method, data collection process, that is internet source. So for example, shall we write the information in our research that you get from Wikipedia? Yes. Because see, Wikipedia, Wikipedia is such a online forum, which in fact anybody can, anybody can modify that. Am I right? So if anybody can modify that, you cannot take it as a very authentic source of information. I have nothing against Wikipedia. That is a good tool. You can read it to begin with, to form your idea, but you cannot take that information for your research. So for that you have to do certain other research, certain other kind of internet search, where it could be, the blog, or it could be online journals, and generally the authentic well research information are generally provided in the PDF format. So if you are better to search PDF, if you are able to download it, that is very good. If there is a restriction on downloading, you must always note down when you take information from the internet. You must always take the note of the website, otherwise you can copy the website, as well as remember that always copy the date also. Because whatever is internet information is the person can change it. If I'm maintaining a blog on which there is information on Mahabharata, and I may change that information. So you must if somebody is taking information from my blog, must mention the date as well as the website of or the blog address, online address of that blog. So your information is authenticated. It's quite possible that today's information might change tomorrow. So if somebody verifies it, he will get an information that the information has been changed on the 9th of March 2021, and probably it was available before that. So anything on the that you take from the internet, website and date must be mentioned. Well, now, so this is all about the different methods of data collection, and for research, we need to use a combination of different methods for research, which generally depend on the topic of research. So here, our that